This is Mike Henriksen from Fluent 2014 in San Francisco. I'm here with Glenn Block. Glenn?
Yes, hi Mike.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
So, how has this conference been for you guys?
It's been great. We've had a lot of traffic to our booth. We've had people really, I think one thing that's been exciting is most people that come are like, hey, I've either heard of Splunk or I'm using Splunk in our environment, or we're using it directly. So yeah, it's been great. We've had some really great conversations.
So, Splunk at a JavaScript conference, can you kind of unpack that for me? What is it all about?
Sure. Well, Splunk is a platform for we call it a platform for operational intelligence. So we're processing data streams, log data coming from many different places. You might be a very large IT shop. That's probably like the place where Splunk was really born, and you have tons of servers that are generating information. How do you mine that? How do you know like when things fail, or somebody calls and there's a problem? Customer service reps need to mine through massive amounts of data. So Splunk is really like finding a needle in a haystack. And we are a product, but we're also, like I said, a platform. So we actually have a whole set of APIs. I mean, basically all Splunk is an API server that we give you a browser client, but you can talk directly to those APIs, including from JavaScript. And I actually work on those SDKs. So we have a JavaScript SDK that a front-end developer can write a web app that talks to Splunk, or a Node developer can write a back-end app that talks to Splunk. But it gets even better. In the last year, we've been investing in this thing we call the Web Framework Toolkit. And so Splunk, the dashboard of Splunk is extensible. You can write your own apps, and that's a browser-based app. So we basically give you, with the framework, the ability to write a JavaScript application which extends Splunk and runs within Splunk. And so it uses standard technologies that web developers are used to, HTML5. We use Django on the back end. We use Backbone. You could use, we use jQuery. You can use whatever D3 for visualization. So it's something that the JavaScript engineer is going to be very, very comfortable with. And why they would want to do that? Because Splunk has great support out of the box, but you want to have a really custom kind of experience that's either tailored to your company, or maybe you want to publish an application, which many of our customers do. We have over 400 apps in our app store. So a JavaScript developer, can write an app, package that up, publish that to the app store, and then anyone can go and install that. And that's all JavaScript goodness.
Right. So one of the things about this conference is obviously JavaScript, and it's the web, and the web is very massive and somewhat unstructured here and there.
Sure.
And you guys handle unstructured data, including machine data and all that?
Absolutely. And guess what? A lot of data today is being generated in JSON. And hey, that works really well for JavaScript. So it turns out that JavaScript is a really good platform for handling big data, because of the fact that so much of that data nowadays, particularly when you talk about the Internet of Things and you talk about APIs, is actually being generated in JSON. And that JavaScript can just handle that natively. So yeah, that works out very, very well. The fact that Splunk can deal with any kind of structure, so it doesn't require you to have, when you're coding against it, you don't have to have classes with properties and methods. You can just work with the loose information directly. So it's a very good fit with JavaScript for that. And the other thing that it's a really good fit for, my coworker Itai Neiman gave a talk at Cascadia.js about how when you use Splunk on the server in a Node app, Node is all about streaming. And so, and Splunk is all about streaming because it's generating data it's giving you data real time that's just pushing out to you. So that's another place where it fits really nicely for JavaScript, and it's async pattern, because I basically can just make a call and then results just start coming back in an async manner, and then when they start coming, they keep coming. And so in the Node world, dealing with streams is a logical fit.
Excellent. Glenn, one last question for you, and it's a shameless plug for you. You just wrote a book. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is and why you wrote it?
Sure. It doesn't relate to Splunk. The book that I wrote is called Designing, and it wasn't just me. Myself and 4 other authors wrote a book called Designing Evolvable Web APIs with ASP.NET. And so what that really is about is, we've seen this big adoption in API development. It's really starting to move en masse. And so there's one notion of, hey, let me just build an API and get it up and running. That's not what this book is for. I've been very involved in kind of the REST space and around APIs and like with some of your authors like Mike Amundsen, things like Hypermedia. And that's something that's been very foreign to the .NET world. And we've been working very hard over the last couple of years. I was, before I left Microsoft, to really build out a platform that makes that more approachable. And this book is basically saying, hey, if I want to build out an API that is built to last, and I'm going to use ASP.NET to do it, here's really how to tread that path. Plus, we also have a good portion of the book just trying to educate people that are coming maybe from a background where they don't even really understand what web API development is, just around things like what is HTTP and what are the things I should really be thinking about knowing to actually build out APIs that can leverage the infrastructure of the web. So yeah, so it's really great. It's been a 2.5-year effort with 5 authors distributed across 4 countries and 4 time zones.
And where do people find it, on Amazon or where else?
It's available, of course, on O'Reilly.com.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget that. It will be available on Amazon, and I expect it will also be available in the stores.
Yeah.
It just went to press, so
Excellent.
it should be available in the next couple of weeks.
All right, we look forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you.
Thanks.